Behind convent walls, a nun's devotion to God clashed with her desire for a student. There once was a young woman who lived in a world where she felt lost and alone. She had everything, yet she felt like nothing. Despite having devoted her life to serving the Lord, her heart ached for something more, a void that no amount of prayer or penance could fill. Unbeknownst to her, her fate would soon change when a captivating student entered her life. But their connection was not merely platonic. It was a bond that defied the boundaries of their sacred profession, threatening to shatter the fragile peace of the convent. The young nun, Sister Agnes, had always been an exemplary student of the divine, her faith as steadfast as the ancient oaks that lined the horizon of the monastery where she lived. Yet lately her nights were filled with unsettling dreams, and her days with a deep, inexplicable melancholy. Her prayers, once a source of comfort, now echoed unanswered in the vast expanse of the chapel. The tranquility of her religious life seemed a distant memory, replaced by a turmoil that threatened to consume her. In the midst of this internal struggle, a new student arrived at the monastery, Brother Thomas. His presence was like a ray of light piercing through the dark clouds of her troubled soul. Thomas was not just any student. He was the embodiment of curiosity and fervor, his thirst for knowledge as boundless as the sky above the monastery. His arrival stirred something within Agnes, a feeling she had long thought extinguished, desire. As Agnes delved deeper into understanding her unexpected feelings, she found herself torn between her calling and her emotions. Her conflict was not merely an internal one, but a battle between duty and desire, faith and feeling. With each passing day, the line between them blurred, making Agnes question the very essence of her being. Despite the tumultuous emotions raging within her, Agnes was a woman of principle and conviction. She was a woman of principle and conviction, and the thought of abandoning her sacred vows was abhorrent to her. Yet the pull of her emotions was powerful, a force of nature she could not ignore. Torn between her duty to God and the undeniable feelings she harbored for Thomas, Agnes found herself at a crossroads. But life, as it often does, had other plans. A sudden illness struck Thomas, and it was Agnes who found herself at his bedside, battling not just for his physical health, but also the precarious balance of their hearts. As she cared for the ailing student, her feelings intensified, transforming from a fleeting fancy to a deep, passionate love. This was a love that transcended the confines of their relationship, defying the barriers of their sacred roles, and threatening to engulf them both. With Thomas's health hanging in the balance, Agnes was faced with a harrowing choice. Should she confess her undying love for him, risking the sanctity of her order and the depth of her faith? Or should she remain silent, forsaking her own happiness for the sake of her vows? Days turned into nights as Agnes grappled with her conscience. The peaceful tranquility of the monastery was replaced by the deafening roar of her turbulent emotions. The familiar routines and rituals that had once brought her solace now served as painful reminders of her forbidden longing. Each chime of the chapel bell echoed the torment in her heart, each prayer a desperate plea for guidance. Amidst this internal maelstrom, Thomas began to recover, much to the relief of the entire monastery. But as he regained his strength, so did the intensity of his feelings for Agnes. Their stolen glances became charged with unspoken emotions, their casual conversations laced with undertones of desire. The air between them crackled with anticipation, each moment pregnant with the possibility of confession, of letting the floodgates of their love burst forth. However, Agnes was a woman bound by duty and desire. Every stolen moment with Thomas was a victory, every shared smile a triumph over the constraints of their existence. Yet the looming shadow of their forbidden love loomed over them, a constant reminder of the price they might pay for succumbing to their desires. Despite the risks, Agnes and Thomas found solace in their shared love for literature, spending hours poring over ancient texts. In these moments of intellectual communion, they found a temporary refuge from the turmoil of their heart. They discussed everything from the intricacies of poetry to the complexities of human emotion, all while concealing the depth of their own feelings from each other. As weeks turned into months, their bond deepened, becoming an anchor in the storm of their emotions. However, their secret rendezvous couldn't remain hidden forever, and soon whispers began to circulate around the monastery, casting shadows of doubt on their seemingly pure lives. Rumors spread like wildfire, fueled by the scandal of a forbidden love affair between a nun and a student. Agnes, once held in high regard for her piety, now found herself isolated, her reputation tarnished by the very walls that had sheltered her for so long. The whispers grew louder, culminating in a confrontation with the Mother Superior, who demanded an explanation for the growing unrest within the monastery. Faced with the scrutiny of her peers, Agnes knew she could no longer keep her love for Thomas a secret. With trembling hands and a heart heavy with emotion, she confessed her undying love for the young student, revealing the depths of their forbidden passion. Her confession sent shockwaves through the monastery, shattering the image of purity that had cloaked their community. The Mother Superior, deeply disappointed in Agnes, ordered her to end her relationship with Thomas immediately. Torn between her love for Thomas and her devotion to her order, Agnes found herself at a pivotal moment in her life. The path ahead was fraught with agonizing choices, each with its own set of heartbreaking consequences. In the face of the Mother Superior's ultimatum, Agnes made a heartbreaking decision. She chose her sacred vows over her love for Thomas, believing it to be the right thing to do. But this choice came at a great cost. As the news of Agnes's forbidden love spread, the peaceful existence of the monastery was shattered. The unity that had once bound the nuns together was fractured by suspicion and judgment. Agnes, once respected and admired, now faced isolation and rejection from her former companions. The silence of her fellow nuns was deafening, their eyes filled with disappointment and sorrow. Even the simplest of tasks, such as tending to the garden or preparing meals, became laden with unspoken tension. The laughter and camaraderie that had once filled the halls of the monastery were replaced by hushed whispers and sideways glances. Despite the emotional turmoil she endured, Agnes remained steadfast in her decision, convinced that she had done the right thing. She threw herself into her religious duties, seeking solace in her service to the Lord. Her actions only fueled the fire of gossip, with some accusing her of using her faith as a shield to hide her past transgressions. The weight of their judgment pressed down on her, threatening to crush her spirit. But even in the darkest moments, Agnes held on to her faith, seeing it as the guiding light that could lead her out of the shadows of doubt and despair. Meanwhile, Thomas, upon learning of Agnes's decision, was torn between grief and understanding. He respected Agnes's choice, recognizing the sacrifices she had made for love. Consumed by grief and a profound sense of loss, Thomas decided to leave the monastery. He realized that he could not continue living a life that was overshadowed by the memory of his forbidden love for Agnes. With a heavy heart, he bid farewell to the place that had become synonymous with both his passion and his pain. As the years passed, Agnes continued to live a life of piety and service. However, the scars of her past love for Thomas never truly faded. The echo of his laughter, the warmth of his smile, and the depth of his eyes remained etched in her memory. She dedicated herself to her religious duties, finding solace in the routine and structure of her life. But as the sun set each evening, she would find herself lost in a labyrinth of memories, each turn leading her deeper into the recesses of her past. In the twilight years of her life, Agnes's thoughts often drifted back to the pivotal moments she had shared with Thomas. She wondered what might have transpired if she had chosen differently, if she had followed her heart instead of her vows. These musings were not born out of regret, but out of a deep longing for the life that could have been. Yet despite the bittersweet memories that colored her old age, Agnes never wavered in her commitment to her religious order. She understood that the choices she had made, though difficult, had shaped her into the person she was, a woman of unwavering faith and quiet strength. In the final chapters of her life, Agnes found a measure of peace. She had lived a life marked by both devotion and desire, sacrifice and longing. Her story, though unique, was a testament to the complexities of the human experience, a reminder that even in the face of impossible choices, one can find a measure of peace. And so the tale of Agnes and Thomas serves as a poignant reminder that love, in its myriad forms, has the power to both captivate and consume, to inspire and to destroy. It is a testament to the strength of the human spirit, capable of enduring even the most harrowing of choices, and finding solace in the quiet moments of reflection.